Good day, friends. Welcome back. My name is Jonathan. This is the third installment of my collection series where I attempt to go over all the fragrances in my collection. We got a lot to get through today. I want to talk about my scent of the day, something I'm sampling, and a little unboxing that hit the porch today. What I did was I took everything that was on that shelving unit and I kind of put it on two tables on either side of me. And depending on how long it runs, I might break it up into two videos, and then kind of when I'm done with part three, I'll turn around and record part three and then put them out in succession. Sorry about the wait. I was actually just kind of toiling over how to make this video. I thought about doing it first person with my phone over there at the collection, but that got kind of clunky. And then I thought maybe bring the whole laptop over there and do it from there, but I was like, you know what, this gives me a good chance to clean the shelves and dust the bottles and reorganize the collection. So that's what we're going to do. So let's start at the start. Scent of the day is around here somewhere. Here it is. Scent of the day is Shamad Om by Guerlain. Bobby O was talking about this earlier today, and love these bottles. This is great hyacinth and violet fragrance. And I was saying earlier that this took me a little while to warm up to, but I have, and I'm glad I kept revisiting it. If you don't know about Bobby O's channel, H2O, go check him out. He puts out great content, and I've been taking notes because I like his casual kind of turn the camera on and go kind of a style. So I really appreciate Bobby. Okay. So what else? I've been sampling these for the last 2 days. This is Trey E from Neela Vermeer, and this is Neural. Neural? Yes, Neural from Neela Vermeer. Bertrand Duchefort's work, and oh boy, what work it is. I think his work with that house is some of the best perfumery in the industry, full stop. So knocked out, and there's others like Ashoka. If you're not familiar with that house, check it out. It's stunning, really stunning. Okay, coffee cup of the day. Little Avengers, little Hulk smash. I'm going to try to Hulk smash this video in one take. See how that goes. Okay, yes, and a little package hit the porch today from a good friend of mine, the Right Honorable Stix Schlonghammer from the Badlands, and this is Beach Hut Man. And this is one that I've had on my short list of amouages, and I'm a big fan of this house, and I'm really happy to have this. He put it up as I couldn't grab it fast enough. I'm really looking forward to spending some time with this later this evening. Thank you again, Stix. And he was kind enough to send me, as he usually is, kind enough to send me some decants of some things that I wanted to try, some Histoire de Parfums, and he was also, to my surprise, very kind in putting in a little partial of Fahrenheit, the OG, and such great memories with this fragrance. I had this one of the group of fragrances when I was a teenager that I had. This came out in '88, which is the year I graduated. So this really brings back some great memories, and I really appreciate Stix throwing this in there. I, believe it or don't have the vintage. I do have a few Fahrenheits, but not the vintage EDT. So I'm stoked about that. Okay, let's just jump in, because these fragrances aren't going to show themselves. So, okay, we're going to start at the start. This is Very Valentino by Valentino, and I like this. Barbershoppy. I like the house. I like this one a little bit more than I like V Pour Homme, which I showed the other day. Speaking of the Fahrenheits, this is a vintage Christian Dior aftershave. And I was talking to Ramsey about the aftershaves. If you ever run into a vintage that's a little pricey, don't be shy to go after these aftershaves, because this one is a banger. I mean, really, really good quality, and it's not lighter, which you'd think an aftershave would be. I've run into a lot of vintage aftershaves that are just amazing, and I kind of want to stop there. If I wasn't, so, adamant about getting the eau de toilette or the eau de parfum, being a collector, I would stop at some of these aftershaves. Okay, this is Fahrenheit Le Parfum. This gets mixed reviews. I dig it. It's heavy on the vanilla, and I see where that gets a little bit much for some people. But for some reason, that vanilla has a twinge of smoke to it for me. I don't have the vintage eau de toilette just because I'm kind of saving my pennies for the Absolute, which I was talking about earlier. That's the one that looks like it's up my alley. Okay, let's start powering through, because time keeps on ticking. Okay, this is the trifecta of Black Ink Encre Noir by Lalique. This is à l'extrême. This is the Sport, sorry, and this is the à l'extrême. And pound for pound, Lalique puts out some of the best fragrances. I don't know that I like any one of these better than I like the other. Like the OG is a little bit more of a serious fragrance. The à l'extrême is a little on the sexy side, and the Sport, which I put a dent in that Sport. I like just for like everyday gym scent kind of fragrance. And I have a couple of Laliques here, and they always punch over their weight class. Okay, this is, where's my cloth? This is Platinum Egoist. This was a mistake. I actually went into a Chanel boutique or department store I was in, but I asked for the Egoist, and they gave me this. I didn't realize it until I got home. Now, is this a bad fragrance? No. It's a very nice fragrance, but it's not Egoist. Let's be honest. And I don't know if the older version of Platinum Egoist is, knock your socks off, but that one is not. I'll take the Egoist 10 out of 10 times. Okay, let's see. Let's go to Roberto Cavalli, Uomo La Notte. It's a cardamom heavy fragrance, and it's really good. And it doesn't list the note of violet, but for some reason I get a lot of violet. Maybe it's the combination of black pepper and some of the other notes, but that Roberto Cavalli, that line, in fact, is very good. Okay, some of this stuff I'm not even going to talk about. You just know what's up. Dolce & Gabbana. That's the sticker. And this stuff it's good. It's freaking good. What else do you want me to tell you? Okay, let's see. Just going all over the place here. This is Basile Uomo. It's a great 80s banger. It's very spicy to me. All right, let's see. Now we got a little twofer. This is Xerius Rouge and the regular Xerius. And of the two, I prefer the Xerius. The Rouge is a little bit playful for me, and a little lighter. I like the density of the Xerius a little bit more. It's a little more masculine. Not necessarily a deal breaker that something's masculine or feminine, but you get it. All right, this is Lanvin for men, and I really like this. This is it's like an herbal, kind of a fougere, kind of a barbershop thing, but it's really on the heavy duty side. All right, let's just keep powering through. Speaking of note, this is Blue Note, Porom by Bulgari. There's a blue, I believe, and then there's this, and they're a little bit different. This is a chocolate fragrance, and this is good. I believe this is discontinued as well, and this one is so good, so good. Turned on to it by someone on Instagram named Ken Friedman, and that guy always posts bangers, so when he posts stuff, I check it out. Okay, this is something that needs no introduction. This is Body Koros, and this is the older bottle with the glass bottom. Never understood that glass bottom, but this is wonderful. It's a wonderful hot weather fragrance. I feel like this is to Koros what Antaeus Sport Cologne is to Antaeus. Kind of falls in that same category for me. Okay, then we have two bottles, not one, but two. One of them I think was a gift. It was a partial. And this is Jungle by Kenzo. And then you got a bigger bottle here. I like Jungle. I like Jungle a lot. It's underrated, I think. There's only a couple of fragrances from the house that I like, and that's one of them. Okay, I showed the brother of this fragrance in my last video, and this is the Eau de Toilette. This is Arrogance Porom, and this is an earlier release than the Uomo, and this is done right. This is what an older brother should smell like. It's very animalic and pissy. It's very herbal and spicy. I like Arrogance a lot. I think I have another Arrogance back there somewhere. Okay, moving right along. This is a killer fragrance that not a lot of people talk about, but the people that know about it. This is J. Casanova Porom. And there's a second version of this, or two, J. Casanova 2, that I'm curious about. I don't know if that's the woman's fragrance or if that's just a second version of that, but I'd be interested in finding out about that. Here is a terribly, terribly obscure fragrance that I don't know anything about, but I saw it. It looked kind of cool. It was cheap as chips, so I pulled the trigger on it. And this is called Lucifer Eau de Toilette. It doesn't even have a sticker on the bottom. I don't know anything about it. I feel like it's one of those Parlux fragrances. It's really spicy and dry. If anybody has any information about Lucifer Eau de Toilette, holler at me, because I'd like to know a little bit about it, or a perfumer, anything. Okay, here's a cheapie that I kind of like. This is Emigelia Xenia, and this is Xenia Uomo. And this is a really good cheapie violet fragrance. Doesn't last forever, but if you douse your clothes, it's really nice. It's a really nice violet fragrance. Speaking of Fahrenheit. Okay, let's see. Let's go over here. This is one of my favorite leathers, and this is Leonard. Don't have to say too much about this. In fact, I have a second little bottle here of Leonard. And now I don't know if this second bottle is a little bit older or what, but this one smells better than that one. This one smells a little more rich, a little more herbal. The leather pops a little bit more, so I don't know what the differential is between these two, but I mean the larger bottle is still very good. I mean it's Leonard. It's a fantastic leather. Okay, where are we? All right. This was hyped by Ashton a couple years back, and it was early on in my journey, so I kind of went with the flow and picked this up. It's got an interesting bamboo note in it. Look at the dent I put in it. This is, a gym scent that you could just spray with abandon or in anger, as Rich says. I dig it. Mont Blanc's that, just starting out kind of a house that you get into that kind of introduces you or makes you curious about better things. This is the modern iteration of Dune. I don't know what the vintage smells like, but I kind of feel like it would be better. This is good, but I feel like it's something missing. Like it could be a little denser or a little more something. That's not my bias towards vintage. I have plenty of niche and modern stuff. It's just that one feels a little bit light. So I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. I mean, that's not unrealistic that I am. Okay, one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I had this when I was younger, and I have it again now. And this is by Laura Cesaro. And this is a second formulation of Azzaro. And God, such a killer fragrance with that anise note. I really believe this is, the granddaddy of vintage pour hommes. It's just perfect. For me, it's just perfect. Okay, this is the first coming of Azzaro Pour Homme Intense. This is the batches released after 92, and this is very good. This kind of really nods to the Azzaro DNA, but done in the 90s style that I was talking about in my last video. There's another Pour Homme Intense that came out in 2015, I believe, and I've heard, and I don't know for sure, that it doesn't quite measure up to the 92 version, but if anybody knows, anybody wants to hit me up with some information, let me know. Here is a kind of a, little talked about, but still a very good fragrance, and this is Businessman by Panouge. This is very good. I don't have the notes in front of me, but I guarantee it's a laundry list of notes. It's very spicy. I dig it. This is, again, an early on in my journey kind of a fragrance, and I saw that it had plum, so I picked it up. And this is a Lacoste Pour Homme. And this is really nice. This is just a pleasant plum fragrance for the gym. I think this one is discontinued, if I'm not mistaken. Not that anybody would rush out and go get it, but I could see that being on eBay 5 years from now, going for $200. But it ain't worth $200. I can tell you that. I flashed this the other day, and it just so happened to be on that shelving unit. But this is New West by Aramis, and this one is really growing on me. Now that there's a little air let in the bottle, it's really starting to open up. There's another Aramis. This is Tuscany per Uomo, and this is the vintage. Gotta love these bottles. It's a shame that Aramis stopped being creative with their bottles. Tuscany per Uomo is very good. Here is an oldie but a goodie, YSL Pour Homme. And I don't think I need to say anything about that, do I? It's YSL Pour Homme. It's a kick-ass fragrance. Okay, this is Duc de Vervins, and I believe this is the Luxtrem version, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know how well you can see that. This is really good. This is a really good fragrance. It kind of ticks all the boxes for that barbershop herbal, slightly sweet, masculine fragrance. I dig it. I like it a lot. Speaking of barbershops, this is a Rive Gauche-esque fragrance from Enrique Coveri Pour Homme, and I really like this. I would almost put this on par with Rive Gauche, in my opinion. And for the price versus the Rive Gauche, I might take Enrique Caveri all day and twice on Sundays. Again, we're deep into the Aramis for some reason. I guess this is where I had them all stacked on the shelf. This may very well be, pound for pound, one of the best fragrances money can buy. And this is Aramis Tobacco Reserve. Now, granted, you have to like tobacco, but golly, this is a killer fragrance. And I think this is discontinued as well, even though it came out only 3, 4, 5 years ago. I may have to pick up another bottle and just leave it sealed, you know. Okay, we're getting down to the end of this side. I might be able to get into the first row over here. This is L'Anarchiste by Caron, and this is the older bottle. There's a newer version in new packaging, but this is very, very unique. Pepper heavy, African orange flower, I think. It's one of the most unique fragrances I have in my collection, and it took me a little while to get used to it and kind of wrap my mind around it, but it's a very good fragrance. Here is a very strange fragrance, and that's pretty much the only reason I bought it. This is Phantom of the Opera, and that's all I know about it. Phantom of the Opera. I don't know if you can read the bottom there. This is kind of just... This is like a carbon copy of a carbon copy of 80s fragrances. It's kind of got a little bit of everything in it. It's good, and it's a little on the dark side. Maybe in the vein of Dolly Parfum, possibly. Now here is a fragrance that is not a carbon copy of a carbon copy. This is a very good fragrance by Daniel Hector, and it's called Character. And if you don't know about Character, it's a wonderful bottle. It's such a good fragrance. It's a little smoky. It's a little resinous, herbal. There's a Daniel Hector Character Sport out there somewhere that I'd like to get my hands on, just for collector's purposes, just because it's so obscure. Okay, here is... I was talking to Ramsey about this, and these are vintage Perielises. These are the Eau de Toilettes. I have 3 of them, actually. I have a smaller one too, just because I love the DNA of these Perielises. Now, I know that modern Eau de Toilettes are not very good, but these are dated to like 85. I don't know if there's any way you can see that. I would think not. But these are dated to about 85, and they smell phenomenal. Now, I know that if you get a bottle that says cologne, you're guaranteed to get that vintage formula. But I would be very, very surprised if anybody could pick this away from the colognes. I'm very happy to have these. With the black atomizer and neck, I think is another indication of their age. But that Periellis is a banger. Really like it. This is one of the first fragrances I think I bought when I first started collecting. And this is Versace Pour Homme. Everybody knows about this. I don't have to tell you about it. I dig it. And I like the memories attached to it. And yeah, I dig that fragrance. This is another wonderful fragrance. This is a favorite of my friend Ramsey's. And I've also smelled the feminine version, and they're both very good. And this is Versus Uomo by Gianni Versace. And it's a great bottle. Great presentation. I wish they would make creative bottles like this again. Anybody, any house. Very good fragrance. I don't have to tell you about that. That's just a damn good fragrance. Okay. Speaking of a damn good fragrance, in any year, in any iteration, in any formula, in any bottle, Furio. Furio is wonderful, and it's wonderfully powerful, and I dig it, by Jacques Bogart. And Furio, I think I looked up Furio one time, and it's Japanese for bad boy or the bad child. I don't know if anybody knows for sure. Hit me up. Okay. This was hyped up, and I kind of bought into the hype a few years back, and then all of a sudden it started showing up on discounters again and again. But it is a very good fragrance, and this is Ultra Red by Paco Rabanne. It's vanilla and citruses, and it is very good. And I bought a backup because I thought, well, someday it's going to turn into something. And it just keeps popping up at discounters, so I feel like a jerk. Okay, one of the best leathers in my collection. I've got quite a few, and this is Trussardi Uomo. I don't need to say anything about this. You guys know about this. This is just such a wonderful leather. This is a less wonderful leather from the same house, but still respectable. This is L'Uomo by Trussardi. This is more of a lighter, kind of suedier version of the Uomo. They're not directly related, but that's just, this is, if the one is leather, the other is suede. Okay, this is one of my favorites for some reason. I don't know why. Just kind of dig it. This is Pie. I'd really like to, and I've tried some of the flankers, the Fresh and the Neo and all those. I'd really like to get my hands on Pie Extreme in the dark brown juice. That looks really interesting. There's a couple of other odd flankers out there, Leather Jacket and a few others. I wouldn't mind checking out someday. Okay, last one for this table over here. This is the big boy, and this is a 200 ml of Giacomo di Giacomo. This is the vintage formulation. Look at that bottle. Such a cool bottle. And I'm really happy that I have a bigger bottle so I can kind of spray with abandon. This is a power punch. This is a nuclear power plant of a fragrance. I dig it. If you ever get a chance, if you don't know about that, put your nose on it. It's something special. Okay, I'm going to go over a few in this first row, and I think we'll call it quits, and then it'll be on to the fourth video. Just a few goodies up here. This is a real cheap but good fragrance, and this is Vince Camuto's Smoke Dude. This is kind of really nice. This is it's got a little bit of Aramis Tobacco Reserve in it. Speaking of leathers, this is another one of my favorites in my collection. This is Fendi Uomo, and you know the bottle right away. I don't have to tell you anything about it. It's just a beautiful Italian leather. Full stop. That's all I have to say about that. Okay, a couple of nostalgic fragrances that I went after. This is the Red Lettering Fierce. This is wonderful. It takes me right back. Running around in restaurants and bartending and waitering, and love it. I got two bottles of it. However, unfortunately, the top notes are gone on this one, as is a pitfall of some of these older Fierces. The tops go off real quick. You get past the first few minutes of it, and the fragrance is still very good, but it kind of sucks that it's off in the top. But I love it. That other bottle carried me through for a couple of years. This is another Abercrombie and Fitch, and this is Woods. Abercrombie and Fitch Woods, and there is a counterpart to this called Spices, I believe, that I wouldn't mind trying one of these days. Okay. I have both the modern and the vintage Versace Dreamer. And yes, there is a difference. This one doesn't have quite the tobacco punch that this one has. I wore this bottle out because it's kind of a nice bed scent, like something to wear like on your way to bed. and I've had this for a few years. And then I said, well, let me just see if there is any difference or strength-wise or whatever. And sure enough, the tobacco in this one is more prominent and really does something to what I like in here. It improves it, that tobacco. Okay, from the house of Alain Delon, and this is Samurai. And I really dig this, you know, for a freshy, kind of aquatic, fruity, fresh, really unique gym scent. I like that a lot. That's Samurai. Okay, couple more and we'll call it quits. This is Wall Street. And Wall Street is a great fragrance that nobody ever talks about. It's kind of in the neighborhood of KL Ohm, something like that. Dark, rich, resinous. Okay, let's see. Couple more and we'll call it quits. This is kind of, I don't know, I kind of like the bottle because it kind of reminds me of the Gucci bottles, the Envy and Pour Homme 2. And this is by Shiseido, and this is called Zen. And I don't know if you can see the writing on that, but the bottle kind of reminds me of the Gucci bottles. And the fragrance is good, but it's good. I'm going to say it's good. I'm going to stop there. It is good, and it's been growing on me. At first, I thought it was a little nondescript, kind of, but the bottle's heavy as hell, too. Yeah, so that one, the jury's still out on that one. Okay, couple more little... This is a pair that I'm really glad to have in the collection. This is Boss Sport, and this is Boss #1. And this is not the red cap. This is the next iteration, but still very good. And this is the Boss without the #1 written on it. And it is a banger. Such a good honey fragrance. This is also wonderful. Great citruses. Great fragrance. Let's see. One more. We'll do this last two here. And we'll call it quits, and then I'll get on to recording the fourth installment, because I don't want to keep you here all day. 35 minutes is tolerable, right? This is Lolita Longpica's Eau Masculine, and I like this licorice and these. I don't have to say anything about it. This is a great fragrance for the price. And there's another one out there. It's called Minuit something, the Midnight Fragrance, something in French. And it's supposedly like the Lolita Lampico with oud and some other dark notes. I'd like to get my nose on that one. And this one is Hommage à l'Homme Voyage by Lalique. And this is a great fragrance. I'm really enjoying this. Look at that bottle. How do you not dig these bottles? And this is another Lalique punching above its weight, as Lalique does. I really dig that fragrance. There's the regular Hommage that I've not yet put my nose on, but I'd like to. One of these days I will. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to leave the rest of this monstrosity for the next video. So I'd like to thank y'all for coming back, and if you any suggestions, anything to learn me, drop it in the comments. Really appreciate all your thoughts and kind words. So everybody have a great day. Stay grateful. Peace.